So we'll start in constructive rest pose. And let's begin by taking a sigh a couple of times. Big inhale and just an exhale out your mouth. Scan your body just with your attention, okay, with your awareness, noticing, if there's any place where you feel like you could let go or adjust, any tension anywhere that you might be able to release. Really get heavy on the floor, feeling as though you can almost imprint yourself on the floor. Noticing all the places where you're making contact. And every inhale, let's continue to breathe three-dimensionally. So by that I mean, as you inhale, can you feel your rib cage expand, the lower ribs here, to the sides, to the front, maybe even to the back. And then a long exhale, you could blow out through pursed lips, all the way to the end. You could always transition to breathing in and out through your nose. All right, now on your next exhale, let's press the low back down to the floor. We're going to begin some pelvic rocks. And on the inhale, rock your pelvis forward so that you have a low back curve away from the floor, and repeat. Exhale, pressing down, and inhale, rocking forward. You can just let your breath flow as well. Good. Now, can you find a middle space? So, like between those two spaces, between those two extremes. And then as you inhale, let's reach arms overhead. And as you exhale, let's bring the right knee in and give it a squeeze with your hands. Let's straighten out the left leg on the floor. I'm going to use the right hand. Keep breathing as you make circles with the knee and the hip. A couple times in one direction and then reverse, making these kind of as big as you can. Good. Now let's come back to center and let go with your hands. Inhale, and as you exhale, can you tighten your abdominal muscles? And now feel for making those same big circles. Again, reverse directions. Try to stabilize your center with your core. Get this engaged the whole time. Good. Then come back to the center, and you can hold on to the knee again. Good. Now we're going to inhale, take arms overhead, and extend the leg out, hovering it above the floor. And exhale, bring the knee in and give it a squeeze. We'll inhale, arms overhead, extend the leg, really engage your core here, hovering it off the floor, and exhale, bend and squeeze. Now, if you can't get it all the way straight without a really big hip click or just too much pull on your back, then you don't have to take it all the way straight, right? It could just be here. Okay, let's just do one more. And then placing the leg down. Let's just notice the two legs, letting your ankles fall open here. Inhale and exhale. Okay, let's inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, left knee comes in, give it a squeeze. Using your left hand, we'll make circles with the knee and hip a few times in each direction. Okay, and then coming back to center, let's let go with the hands and practice engaging your abdominals. You can touch down here too and just see, are they engaged? And then try to keep them engaged as you circle the knee and hip. A couple times in one direction and then reversing. Relaxing your jaw. And then coming back to center, we'll hold the knee. I'm going to switch up the breath this time. So now we'll inhale when we're here holding the knee. And then exhale, arms overhead, extend the leg, hover. And repeat. So you're going to inhale, pull it in, give it a squeeze. Exhale, extend, really engage through the abdominals to support. A couple more. Good, and this time just let the leg come down, bring the arms at your side, and I'm gonna let the legs flop side to side. So I'm just letting the ankles flop, and shaking out the legs a bit. All right, and then we'll inhale, arms overhead, and exhale, right knee in. Okay, this time, I'm gonna inhale, extend the leg up toward the ceiling, and you might have to bend and straighten a few times if you're tight. Okay, so go for it if you want. Now, I'm just going to give you some instructions here. We're going to be doing this without our hands, so make sure that feels okay on your back. Just letting your arms come down at your sides. You're going to engage the core. Now, when you're doing this, if your leg is way down here, if you're really tight, you're going to definitely want to bend the left leg. Okay, so you can just bend the left leg. Even if it just feels better to you to bend the left leg with the foot on the floor, go for it. Okay, so your left leg can be bent or straight. Okay, inhale, exhale, keep engaging the core. Let's just keep the core engaged, but still try to breathe big. Might move the ankle around a little bit. Okay, now we're going to keep that core engaged and inhale as you take the leg a little bit out to the right without letting yourself flop down to the right. And then exhale, engage the abdominals, come back to center and repeat. Okay, so it's going out to the side, engage, back to center. A couple more. Might feel that inner thigh really working here. And then when you come back to center this time, let's bend the knee, foot to the floor, straightening out both legs on the floor. You can just notice the two legs and any difference between them. All right, on your next inhale, let's stretch arms overhead. Exhale, bring the left knee in. I'm going to inhale to straighten it up toward the ceiling. You might want to bend your right leg and put your right foot on the floor. Now, also, you might want to straighten and bend that left leg a few times, just kind of getting used to it. When you're ready to, you can leave it straight and practice engaging your abdominal muscles to hold the leg there. Just going to hold this pose and breathe. Now, if you want to move the ankle around or anything like that, go for it. And relax your jaw. We're working the core again this week, just trying to find that engagement. Now, when you're ready, we're going to start out to the side. So we'll be inhaling, taking it a little bit out to the side, especially at first. Then exhale, engage those abdominals back to center and repeat. We're not trying to let ourselves flop to the left. Okay, we're trying to keep that right hip grounded without forcing anything and keeping it in control as you go out to the side and back. Okay, and when you come back to center, let's bend the knee, foot to the floor, straightening out both legs, and notice. We'll inhale to bend both knees, feet as wide as a mat, And then start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. Can make these as deep or as small as you'd like. All right, now coming back up to center, we're going to grab our strap. Most people will need a strap, some might not. And what we're going to do is bring the right knee in and then place the strap over your right foot. But I'm keeping this right knee bent. Okay, so the right knee is staying bent. I'm going to try to bring the thigh close to the right side of my ribs there. And the sole of the foot faces the ceiling, okay, if possible. I'm going to hold both ends of the strap with my right hand. Now, you could always reach up for the side of your right foot as well. You just don't want to be straining to do so, okay? So whichever works better for you. Now, I'm going to be pulling down with the strap so the knee is bending toward my right armpit. But at the same time, I'm going to feel the sensation of pressing the foot as though I wanted to straighten my right leg up toward the ceiling. So see if you can get that counter action. Might be a big grip for your hand, which is good for grip strength. Feels a little less if you have the foot. Now your left leg can be bent. I'm just going to move my left foot a little bit away. Okay, I've got that pushing up and pressing down. And now from here, I'm going to try to bring my right knee down to the floor on the right. Now I'm going to let myself turn to the right to let that happen. My left hip comes off the floor, and then I'm going to come back up to the center and repeat. Okay, so I'm coming down and back up, and I can feel this deep into that right hip. The whole time, I'm trying to keep the sole of my right foot facing the ceiling. Okay, and this is it with the strap. Okay, pulling down, but resisting that pulling down. And you can let that left hip fully come off the floor as you tap the knee down to the right. A few more. Good. And then coming back to the center, and slip the strap off the foot and straighten out both legs on the floor, noticing the two legs. Following your breath in and out. Let's bend the knees and then bring the left knee in. And so you can draw that left thigh as close to your ribs as you can without pinching. Some people have pain or pinching, so accommodate for that. And then I'm going to lift the foot, the ankle, so the sole of the foot faces the ceiling. Slip the strap over the bottom of the left foot. My left hand comes to the outside and reaches up for the strap close to the foot as I can without straining or coming off the floor. Okay, or you can reach for the outside of the foot. And now let's try to pull the knee with the knee bent down toward the left armpit, but at the same time resist it. So you're pressing up with the foot. So feel that action. Keep breathing. My right knee is bent. I'm just moving my right foot a little further away. Good. Keep breathing. And then I'm going to gently bring my left knee down to the floor on the left while trying to keep the sole of the foot facing the ceiling and back to center. Now I'm going to let my right hip come off of the floor. And most people will need to kind of turn to the left a little bit as they do this because it takes a lot of hip mobility. And just have the idea in your head that the sole of the left foot is trying to face the ceiling. A few more here. Good, and then back to center. Let's take the strap off the foot and straighten out both legs on the floor. Can always wiggle the legs here. Notice how it feels. All right, let's bring the knees to bent again. And inhale, and as you exhale, let's press the low back down to the floor and lift both feet off the floor. Knees are stacked over hips. Now, if this is too much for you, just like we did last week, you could have one foot on the floor, okay? And then you'd work one side for a little bit and then the other. This might also be enough for you right here, okay? In this exercise, we are going to try to press the low back down to the floor. Keep breathing, okay? Now, some of you might like to interlace hands behind the head and lift head and shoulders off the floor, letting the elbows curl around the ears. If that's too much, stay down and just stay there. Keep breathing. Keep pressing down into the floor with your low back as though you were trying to crush a little sunflower seed down there. The belly is pulling down or tightening. Good, and let's take a break. Bring the head down, bring the feet down. You could windshield wiper if you wanted. Okay, so some of us will add on to that if it's appropriate for you, okay? You could just be simply having one leg off the floor. You could have both, okay? Or you could also have your head and shoulders, all right? So when you're ready, low back presses down, exhale, feet off floor. Okay, find that connection with the floor. Interlace hands behind head if you're doing it. Exhale, curl up. Elbows around ears. Keep engaging your abdominals. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, slowly bring one knee or one knee away from the belly and then back up. As you're doing that, your toes are just grazing the floor and coming back up. Now, if this is too much, you would stick with any of the other steps that we worked on. Now already, I haven't done this. I did it last week, but I haven't been doing it enough. I can notice my low back's coming off the floor, so I'm really trying to work it and press it down. Now elbows are curling around the ears. We're not wide here like this, okay? We're curling around with chin tucked, not cranking on the neck. Okay, and then when you're ready, come down for a break. You can windshield wiper the knees, side to side, take a big sigh. And breathe. Now you can either draw the knees in and rock yourself up, or you could roll to your side and press up. I'm going to come onto hands and knees here and move through some cats and cows. Okay. And inhale, belly can go toward the floor, stretching out the abdominals that you were just working. And then exhale and round. Repeat. Okay, now you know you could always be with forearms on your yoga blocks if your wrists are bothering you. What we're going to do next is take one leg out to the side. See if you can take it straight out from the hip. Okay, so you could also be here. You could have your forearms on the floor too, of course, if you don't have blocks. So either on hands or forearms. Okay. Now notice, are you able to have the toes pointing the same way your head is pointing and move the pinky toe edge of the foot toward the floor? Let's see if you can do that. You might not be able to, but you can kind of work the ankle a little bit that way. And many people won't be able to get the legs straight out from the hip because of limitations in hip mobility. So notice if you're able to do that, or if you need to have it a little further back or maybe forward, just play around with that. We're going to do some cats and cows here with the leg out to the side. Okay, now try to keep the tail tilted up. You can also pad the knee. I'm going to do that. Keep the tail tilted up, and see if you can press the foot into the floor and sit back toward the back heel. No, I've tucked the back toes. If you have any knee issues, you could put a blanket behind the right knee as you do this, or not go quite as far back down there. A couple of those, getting into that inner thigh. Keep pressing the floor down, the foot down. Good, one more. Good, then let's come up and back to center. Inhale. Exhale, the right leg goes out to the side, or the other leg, whichever one you haven't done. I did my left first, okay? And same thing, you're getting to know your foot and ankle, noticing what's happening there. Okay, check it out. So you can press it down into the floor. And maybe some cats and cows here. Tilting tail up and rounding, alternating, noticing how that feels. Okay, now let's try to leave the tail tilted up. Press the foot down. I've got my back toes tucked. And I keep pressing down as I try to sit back toward my back heel and rise a few times. All right, next time you come up, let's bring the leg in, and we're going to come down to our bellies. Okay, and then all the way down, legs back into Sphinx pose. Up on forearms here, can spread across your collarbones. Press pubic bone down toward the floor, feeling those glutes engage. Inhale here. And exhale here. Notice how this feels on your ankles back there. Are they able to point back, or do you need a blanket rolled up under the ankles? Now on your next exhale, put a little engagement into the lower belly. And then let's come down. Just lowering your forehead either to the backs of your hands or turning your head to one side. Feeling your breath against the floor. Okay, now you may need to turn your head so you can see me. We'll see. Okay, so what I'm going to do is tuck my chin so I don't smash my nose. My forehead comes down. I'm going to place my hands out as though I were going to do a push-up. Okay, so my elbows are toward the ceiling, hands are outside my shoulders. And I'm just going to inhale and try to squeeze the shoulder blades together as I lift my hands off the floor, elbows toward the ceiling, and back down. I'm just going to do that a couple times. So I'm retracting those shoulder blades. Good. Next time you place the hands down, let's now engage the lower abdominals. So you exhale, engage the abdominals as you press into your hands. And I've also got my glutes engaged, and I'm going to relax. And then again, exhale, engage, and relax. And engage, and relax. Okay, now I'm going to see, can I press up onto my knees from here? So press into the hands, roll the shoulder heads away from the floor. Exhale as you engage, and can you press yourself up onto your knees in one line? And pause there. Now I'm going to inhale. Now could you keep your core engaged and exhale, slowly lower back down to the floor. And then inhale, lift the hands off the floor, squeezing the shoulder blades towards one another. And exhale, press hands down, engage abdominals and glutes, and see if you can press up again. Okay, we're just going to try one more time. On an exhale, trying to lower down if you can. Inhale, Releasing those hands up toward the ceiling, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then exhale, hands down, engage core first, and pressing up. Good, and you can go back to puppy dog pose, so hips over knees, arms stretching forward if that works for your shoulders, and breathe. Really wide on your inhale with your breath. Exhale, release. All right, and then when you're ready, bringing your hands by your head to lift your head off the floor, and then can walk those hands back to come into a bear get-up and stand up. And inhale to reach your arms up. And exhale, arms out to the sides and down. And shake out your arms a little bit. Rock on your feet a little bit. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers. Shake everything out and then stand in Tadasana. And so when you stand in Tadasana, you're just standing tall and you're becoming, or hopefully, I meant to tell you guys this at the beginning, but you know, one of the things we're doing in yoga is practicing embodiment, like being fully present in your entire body, right? So right now, let's practice that here in mountain pose. Feeling all the way down to your feet, both sides, your legs, hips, becoming aware of your alignment and your posture. It doesn't need to be perfect or anything, just feeling it there, being aware of it. Shoulders, head. Can you bring the back of your head in line with your upper back? See how that feels. Good, feeling your breath go in and go out. So we practiced that long exhale last week with our Brahmari breath or Brahmari breath, the humming, right? But you can do that with Ujjayi breath too, just lengthening your exhale. You can also do it with a pursed lip exhale. All right, now let's get the chair in front of us here with the seat of your chair facing you to start. And I'm going to do another variation of a sun salutation. So I'm going to inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, hinge at your hips and fold. I'm going to slip the right leg under the chair and the left leg back as you exhale. And then inhale, reach your chest forward, shoulder blades down your back. Very little weight on the hands. Exhale there. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's step the right leg back. You might need to bring the left leg forward to downward facing dog with the chair. Okay, let's take 2 more breaths there. And 1 more breath. And inhale, bend the knees, look between the legs of your chair, and exhale, left leg comes forward. And you might need to step the right leg back a little further to get the heel up. Inhale, shoulder blades down your back, just a really light touch on the hands. Exhale there. Inhale. Now as you exhale, just look down towards your front foot. You might need to inch it out from under the chair. Let's try to step forward and maybe lift the leg as you do, and then bring it next to the other foot. Inhale, reach your chest forward. Exhale, bend the knees like you're seated in the chair behind you. And then inhale, stand up, reach up. And exhale, arms out and down. Good, we're going to do that again. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, chest forward. Step left foot under the chair. Exhale, right leg goes back to your lunge. You're going to stay here. Inhale, shoulder blades down back. Good. And shifting that left hip back a little bit on the exhale. I'm going to try holding here for a moment. So really feeling, again, embodying the pose, feeling both feet. Noticing, can you squeeze the legs a little bit, the inner thighs a little bit toward one another without messing with your front knee, keeping that front knee stable. You might even be able to get a little lighter on the hands, right? So shoulder blades down back. So I've got no touch, and basically I am balancing. I'm just keeping this, right? My chest is forward, I'm looking forward. Good, keep breathing. Really working that front left hip. Nice, and then when you're ready, your weight can go back to your hands a little bit more so that you can step the left leg back and come into downward dog. Breathing in. As you breathe out, let's bend knees, and then exhaling, stepping right leg forward. You can back up that left leg. We're going to stay here for a couple of breaths, right? So you're going to scoot the right hip back a bit to square the hips. Shoulder blades down your back, neck at ease. Back heel lifted if you can. And you're just working on getting a little lighter on the hands. You can work on squeezing the legs toward one another, feeling both feet, fully embodying the pose here. Noticing if you're clenching anywhere you don't need to clench. Good, and then when you're ready, you can put more weight on the hands again, just so you can move that foot out from under the chair. Let's inhale as you reach your chest forward, and exhale, might lift that back leg on the way to step it forward. Inhale, chest reaches forward again. Exhale, sit like you're seated in a chair, and then inhale, stand up, and exhale, arms out and down.